Hi everyone, welcome back. Thanks for joining us today. We've got a brand new story to share with you, so let's get started. My day started off like any other day. I woke up early, got myself cleaned up, gave Amelia a goodbye kiss while she was still sleeping, and drove to my construction job. But there was something unexpected waiting for me. That normal day turned into something extraordinary. Later on that evening, while I was working at the construction site, I felt my phone buzzing in my pocket. I took it out and saw a message from my neighbor Mike. It said, "Dustin, your garage door is open." I found it strange because I distinctly remember closing it. I thanked Mike and asked him to close it if he didn't mind. He agreed and I went back to work. However, I couldn't stop thinking about the open garage door. I didn't know why, but something felt a little strange. I decided to take an early lunch and drive back home. As I got closer to my house, my heart rate started to increase. I saw an unfamiliar car parked in my driveway. It was a car I had never seen before. I had a sickening feeling. I parked my truck on the street and went to my house without making a noise. I opened the side door to the garage and was surprised to find it unlocked. The door from the garage into the house was also unlocked, so I walked through the house without shoes on. I came across my wife Emily on all fours I saw a stranger ramming my wife from behind. My wife was moaning, and the man was holding her by her waist and hitting her on the butt. My wife was screaming for him to hit her harder. It was all happening right in front of me. I was angry and felt like I was going to throw up. I stepped back a bit. I took out my phone, made sure the flash was off, and took a few pictures of them kissing. I also recorded a short video of them together in my house. It was at that moment that I realized that going violent would just land me in trouble. Revenge would be served. The best way to get back at Emily would be to make her fully grasp what she was losing. It was time for a clever plan. I needed to get out of there with my dignity intact. I took a moment to catch my breath and walked away from the house, feeling like a lead weight was sitting on my chest. But I had a plan. I called a friend who was a lawyer and told him everything that had happened. I needed guidance, and we lived in the same city. I needed to gather evidence to potentially reduce the amount of alimony I might have to pay. I had the proof and showed it to my lawyer friend. Even though he wasn't a divorce lawyer, he pointed me in the right direction and helped me understand the necessary steps to protect myself. He provided me with the contact information of a highly regarded divorce lawyer who he said she could help me. When I met with the divorce lawyer, I didn't waste any time going over all the details. She explained that North Carolina was a no-fault state, but that cheating could impact alimony payments for the spouse receiving support. We worked on the necessary paperwork for the divorce and discussed our plan going forward. Emily had no idea what was going on. A few days later, my lawyer and I arranged to meet Emily at a local cafe. She was surprised to see me there, and her eyes filled with confusion as she asked Dustin, "What's going on?" I slid the divorce papers across the table, and Emily's expression changed from confusion to shock. Stuttering, she said, "Dustin, I don't understand." My heart was aching, but I replied, "Emily, I think you do. I saw you with him." Her face turned pale, and I could see the realization sinking in. Tears streamed down her face as she apologized. Despite the pain, I knew my decision was the right one. Eventually, Emily refused to sign the divorce papers. By that time, I had already moved out of our house and found a small apartment for myself. Since the house belonged to Emily's parents, I wasn't concerned about that aspect. The day after she received the divorce papers, her parents offered financial support so she could hire her own lawyer. However, her parents were unaware of why I was divorcing their daughter, and I assumed Emily wouldn't tell them either. So I decided to show Emily's parents the photos and video I took. When I caught her with that guy in our home, I sent them a package explaining why I was divorcing their daughter. 6 weeks later, during the divorce hearing, her parents didn't show up. My lawyer told me she was going to ask for alimony. She said it was unlikely to succeed, but she wanted to keep me informed after hearing what my wife's attorney said. They said on her behalf that I wasn't a good provider and had been mentally offensive in court. My wife kept lying, repeatedly at one point. The judge warned her to ensure the accuracy of her statements because lying in court could lead to trouble, which she was doing. Fortunately, we presented the evidence to the judge, and he granted me the divorce without awarding her any. The judge gave me exactly 30 days to get the rest of my stuff from the house. I only had a couple of boxes left to collect. About 3 months after the divorce, I made arrangements to get my things. As I pulled into the driveway, I noticed the same car that I saw that day parked there. I was initially hurt by this, but the feeling quickly faded. The garage door was left open for me to collect my things. Emily had sent me a message asking to meet up, and I replied that I'd be happy to see her. We met at the restaurant where I'd presented her with the divorce papers. She seemed a bit out of sorts. She seemed like a different person. Assured and content she had been in the past, but now she was a pale reflection of her previous self. She started talking, detailing how difficult life had been for her. She expressed regret for the decisions she had made and admitted how much she had missed me. Despite this, I experienced a sense of distancing. I was indifferent to her comments and stayed silent throughout her speech. I then turned to her and said, "Emily, I hope everything works out for you." I made it clear that I'd made up my mind, but she kept trying to change my mind. She said that she was done. I realized that I had emerged victorious when I left the coffee shop. It wasn't because Emily was sorry or upset about the situation. It was because I had found contentment inside myself. My life had been turned around. I drew on my inner strength and carried on with my life. I started over, putting one foot in front of the other. The best form of retribution wasn't about physical conflict or public disgrace. It was about moving forward in life with more resilience and insight than before. After about 7 months, Emily's father passed away. He never once expressed regret for the first time he showed his anger towards me when he found out we were getting divorced. However, her mother did apologize, and she invited me to the funeral. I was on the verge of backing out, but I didn't have any problems with her mother. I'm not the kind of person who nurses ill will towards others. I'm the kind of person who nurses ill will toward others. You can't change what happened in the past, and as the weeks passed, I heard rumors that Emily was getting into even more legal trouble. The situation kept escalating, and she was arrested for driving under the influence of alcohol one weekend. Her current partner was involved in. I also found out that she was involved in some pretty offensive activities, including trafficking pills from her mother's home. How did I come to know all of this? Well, her mother still gets in touch with me every once in a while. Although our marriage lasted for only 8 years before it ended, she would have been entitled to spousal support for approximately half of that time. I didn't pursue it, but it did have an effect on the conclusion that was reached. I really wanted to find the other guy and release some steam on him, but my lawyer advised against it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories like this. See you next time.